Nets rumors, Day'Ron Sharpe waives no-trade clause in new contract. The Brooklyn Nets continue to make calculated moves as they enter the next phase of their rebuild. One of the more intriguing developments this offseason centers around 23-year-old big man Day'Ron Sharpe, who re-signed with the franchise following a career-best season. Sharpe's new deal is a 2-year, $12.5 million contract, which includes a team option in the second year. While that's a strong value contract for Brooklyn given his upside, the bigger story is the concession Sharpe made during negotiations. According to Keith Smith of SpotTrack, Sharpe waived his implied no-trade clause, granting the Nets greater flexibility in shaping their roster moving forward. Understanding the contract move under the NBA's Collective Bargaining Agreement (CBA), a player who re-signs with his own team on a 1-year contract or a 2-year deal that includes an option is automatically given a no-trade clause unless he voluntarily agrees to waive it. By making this decision, Sharpe essentially gave Brooklyn the right to move him without restriction if the right opportunity arises. This is noteworthy because it reflects both trust and strategy. For Sharpe, the move signals confidence in his ability to keep growing with the team, while also recognizing the nature of the business. For the Nets, it ensures that Sharpe remains an asset, not just on the floor but also in potential trade talks. A breakout year for Sharpe, the 2021 first-round pick took a significant leap forward last season, cementing himself as a reliable rotational big. Across 18.1 minutes per game, he averaged 7.9 points, 6.6 rebounds, and 1.8 assists, while shooting 52% from the field. One of Sharpe's calling cards has been his ability to dominate the offensive glass. He consistently created second-chance opportunities, an invaluable skill for a young team still searching for an offensive identity. Defensively, he showed real strides, ranking among the NBA's most effective rim protectors. According to Cleaning the Glass, his -6.7 defensive rating placed him 6th best among centers who logged over 600 minutes. That kind of impact makes him more than just a role player. It suggests he could eventually compete for a starting job. Sharpe's place in the Nets rebuild as of now, Sharpe enters the 2025-26 season as the backup to starting center Nic Claxton. But the situation in Brooklyn is fluid. The Nets recently set an NBA record by making 5 first-round draft picks in June, a clear signal that the organization is embracing a youth movement. Claxton, meanwhile, has been a cornerstone but remains a possible trade candidate. With rookies like Danny Wolf joining Sharpe in the frontcourt rotation, the Nets could eventually look to move Claxton in exchange for future assets, leaving the door open for Sharpe to take on a larger role. The parallels between Sharpe and Claxton are striking. Claxton, too, signed a modest second contract, 2 years, $17.25 million, before breaking out in 2022-23 and eventually cashing in on a 4-year, $97 million extension. Sharpe could be following that same trajectory. Could Sharpe become Brooklyn's starting center? This is the looming question as the Nets prepare for a long-term rebuild. On paper, Sharpe is built for the modern NBA center role, strong enough to battle inside, skilled enough to keep up with perimeter-oriented offenses, and young enough to keep developing. If he can continue to improve his shooting efficiency, particularly beyond the arc, where he shot just 24%, and maintain his defensive presence, he could easily carve out a bigger role. For Brooklyn, the appeal of a low-cost, high-upside starting center fits perfectly with a rebuilding roster that's prioritizing flexibility. Sharpe doesn't need to become a star to have major value. A reliable, defensive-minded big who rebounds and protects the paint has always been one of the league's most sought-after commodities. Should Sharpe build upon his momentum from last season, he could find himself not only in the Nets starting lineup but also as one of the key pillars of their long-term plan. What this means moving forward: for now, Brooklyn is not actively shopping Sharpe. However, the fact that he waived his no-trade clause means that other teams will certainly be monitoring his situation. Several franchises reportedly expressed interest in him last season, and if he continues to trend upward, his $12.5 million contract could look like one of the league's best bargains. In the big picture, Sharpe's deal represents a win-win for both sides. Brooklyn secures a young, improving player on a flexible contract that fits their rebuilding timeline. Sharpe, meanwhile, gets an opportunity to grow within a young core while leaving open the possibility of eventually cashing in on a much bigger payday, just like Claxton did before him. As the 2025-26 season approaches, all eyes will be on how the Nets manage their crowded frontcourt. For Sharpe, the path is clear: continue to rebound, defend, and expand his game. If he does, the next 2 years could be the springboard to something much bigger.